Breaking Celtic FC news this morning is that the big Greek transfer deal closes. One door closes for him. Now remember, if you see this video, give it a big thumbs up. Now, getting right into the Celtic FC news this morning, Red Diamonds have said that their interest in Big Guaco, he was one of several candidates they were looking at. They needed to make a mutual concession on his salary, which basically hasn't happened. Hence the reason that he's now in America waiting for his visa to be approved. Celtic fans would have noticed, and everyone did on the TV the other night, with all the stewards circling the pitch as it got to the final whistle, when everybody was thinking, what the hell was going on? And the high-vis crew were just doing a bit of training, seemingly, and that's it, end of. They were doing a bit of training, probably for the end of the season, when they know we're going to win the league, and they're not wanting a pitch invasion like happened back when we stopped the 10 in a row for the old Rangers team before they died. Greg Taylor has warned Celtic rivals that Celtic are just about to up their gear with Ange Ball, he says, after they maintained their 100% home run on Wednesday night. Arrivals such as Alistair Johnson slotted into the side perfectly for the departure of Joseph, and new men Kobe Ashe and Iwata and O are being eased into the side to build up their match fitness. Taylor has been impressed by the incoming quartet, and he's even convinced that they'll take the hoops to the higher levels that they need to be. Even after just the short few games that they've been here, he can see that already, and obviously they see that in training. The fact that Alistair Johnson was with the club for about a month, and so he slipped in really well. Celtic are obviously 9 points clear and faced St Mirren in the Scottish Cup next week, and then we'll play the Sevco at the end of this month. The new players will be well in for that game, and I'm still taking that we're going to win that game. So the big Greek, the deal for him to go to Japan is off. He is in America. He's just waiting on his visa being approved. That's it. It's just one of those things where we need to jump over to the comment section, because there was an absolute cracker of a comment, and I'm just going to leave it here just now. You have to remember, this is YouTube, and if you want a public speaker, you've got a public speaking event. If you want somebody talking like they do on the news, this is YouTube. It is YouTube. So let's jump over to the rest of the comments. And personally, I preferred the channel when I actually went to games, but since COVID and lockdown, and I moved to Spain and travel was sort of done in, I prefer this format, to be honest. And there's too many copycat channels out there now, and I did put on the community tab, if anybody was wondering about when it was going to change. It did change back in December, so I put that there. So the video from yesterday was where, one of our players, right after the transfer window closes, says he wants to play Champions League football after he leaves Celtic. Anyway, Andy Boy says they said they wouldn't let VAR ref games, and that's what they're doing. I know a boy from New Zealand who's a Rangers fan, and he's even talking about it, that they're getting away with it. Lee Morrison, he goes on to say, all VAR has done for me is confirm how bad the referees are. I always knew they were bad, but some decisions have been unbelievable. Beggars belief. David Connor says Matt O'Reilly should focus on getting better. He's not good enough yet to go to one of the top, or one of the 5 clubs. I think, talking about O'Reilly, I think he's a few years away from being the player that everybody, I think Peter Grant had him as a youngster at one of his clubs, and Peter Grant speaks really highly of him, and he says he has it in his locker to take that next step to the higher level. So it's all about timing with him. I think if he does it in the Champions League next year, I think if he improves as a player over the next couple of years, he will get that move to a bigger club. Well, bigger club, you're not going to get much bigger than Celtic. When we talk bigger clubs, we talk about in terms of finances, but we don't moan about that at Celtic. We leave that to likes of Martindale and the Sevco managers. Joseph Docherty says, I'm sure we can release 30 million on O'Reilly. Do you think he's going to go for 30 million? The way that the transfer window is going, we'll see what happens in the next couple of years, but I think transfer fees and all will start coming down a bit this year, especially with the financial crisis that is sort of happening as we speak. Gara says we need to get used to VAR decisions going against us. It seems to be the norm. We need to score more goals to make sure we win. Well, if you remember when Ange Postecoglou came into the team, he was always saying that he was happy if he scores more goals than they let in. Now, the fact that the defence has got itself sorted out and the team is defending from the front, we're now not letting in as many goals, and it's basically a free-for-all the way that we play. Tully went on to say, Christ, another fake story about one of our players. It wasn't a fake story, it was in the media, so why is it people, it's anything to get Celtic upset. I think he probably did say it, but you know, it's one of those things, everyone is entitled to their opinion, and that's why this channel is called the One Celtic Fans View. So you're about your own view, and that's why I introduced this section to the videos to give everyone a platform to speak. Joseph says, the cup final will be a game to come unstuck, we'll wait and see. Joe says, Matt O'Reilly actually said in the Danish newspaper. Yep, he did actually say it in a Danish newspaper. His future is to go to a higher level, being Serie A, La Liga or the EPL. I think the style of football that he plays, I think he would be better off in a European league. Wallerman says, I still think Anderson should have been booked for Electris. Eddie Farrell says, video assistant Rangers does not go for us. And Darryl L says, that's how O'Reilly feels. We should get rid of him in the summer for $5 million plus. I think that would be far too little money to let that player go. We need players that want the best for Celtic. I think that the way that the board and Ange sees his team, if you look at the average age of the team, the average age of the team is probably now around about 22, 23. I swear 2 or 3 years ago the average age of the team was on the wrong side of 30. So I think what we're building is something that's going to last a good few years. And then Mickey Flynn says, if that's right, get him to feck. And on that note, we're going to call it a day. We'll see you on the next video. Remember, this is the One Celtic Fans View. It's not mainstream media, it's YouTube. And on that note, have a great day.
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up, roll up.